another great thing that helped me was journaling. I started journaling when I went to the meetings. It wasn't something that a therapist said, or just, I think maybe one of the people in the meeting mentioned, well, I sort of write down things. So I started journaling. And after 2 or 3 years, I had captured the entire spectrum of my early childhood into my early adulthood. And it was in a journal. And I had great friends who were supportive of me. And they said, well, I'd love to read the journals. After I was on BET, they were like, wow, you told your story publicly. And still, I didn't know if that was a good thing or not. But I would love to know more about it. And I said, you don't have to read my journals to know more about it. But they wanted to. They said they wanted to. But they were a little bit surprised. So I was dating someone at the time, my best friend at the time, and a couple of my sisters said they wanted to read it. My best friend got through the first couple of entries and couldn't go further. The person I was dating got through the first couple and couldn't go further. And my sisters were able to read it, and we confirmed and talked about our own lives growing together. I had a friend who was a therapist who worked with survivors of sexual assault. She got through the first few, she couldn't go further. And at first I thought, wait a minute, I had to live through this, and you mean to tell me you can't even read about it? And I have a practice that I started when I was in the group. It's called Take Two. And the first reaction you have is just a visceral one. So I'm so angry, I had to live this and you can't read, you must not care that much about me. That was the first reaction. But my take two is to flip it. What if the exact opposite is true? So I flipped it and I said, what if they care about me too much? What if they love me so much that to even imagine the things that I wrote about that actually happened to me, hurt them. And I didn't want to hurt them. And I didn't want them to have to live through everything that I lived through. And I didn't need for them, excuse me, to live through everything that I lived through, to show or prove that they were my friends or that they loved me. And that was a huge lesson for me. Not everyone who can't hear your story is someone who is trying to invalidate you or deny. Sometimes it's painful for them. And it reminded me that it took me half my life to come to grips with it, to be able to talk about it. How could I expect someone who cared about me to read it in a book and instantaneously be this ideal kind of person? It just wasn't fair to them. And that changed the nature of my relationships. And so they said, oh, I'm so sorry. You don't have to read it. It's okay. It served its purpose. It was supposed to help me heal. It wasn't supposed to help you heal. You don't need to know all that. I know you love me. I know you care about me. Don't read it. Let's go to a movie, or let's go for a walk. Well, I just don't feel bad. You didn't have to live through it. Let's have some fun. You know what I mean?